Hello, my name is Dr. Brian Hand, and welcome to this third video on exercises that you can incorporate into your training program to help you improve your running performance while minimizing the risk of injury. Now, if you haven't already done so, I strongly encourage you to watch the first two videos in this series, and if you don't have access to those, you can go to denverrunningcoach.com and then opt in to receive those videos. Now, in those videos, I demonstrated 4 different strengthening exercises that you can incorporate into your training program, including a single leg stand, glute bridges, and 2 variations of monster walks. In this video, I'm going to talk about cool down exercises, and we're going to address 2 specific areas that are commonly tight in runners and that can lead to flexibility issues that can negatively impact running performance and also increase the risk of injury. And those areas are the hip flexors and the inner thighs or hip adductors. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to demonstrate some foam rolling and some eccentric strengthening exercises to address those areas. So let's get started with that. So first, we're going to do some foam rolling, and foam rolling is going to allow us to break up scar tissue and clumps of muscle fibers that have not repaired properly. So this occurs commonly in muscles that are overused, especially the hip flexors and the inner thighs. So what we're going to do to address that is we're just going to slowly roll back and forth from just below the hips and pelvis to right above the knees. Slowly applying pressure. It's like we're giving ourselves a massage. And then what you want to do is you want to identify any tender areas, any sore areas, because that's an area that's really been overused, and we really need to address that area. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply pressure on that area. So I've identified that on the right leg. I'm going to cross the left leg over to apply some additional pressure, and I'm going to hold for 30 seconds. While you're doing this, just breathe normally and relax the head and neck as best as you can. And then after the 30 seconds, you can switch over and do the same on the other leg. All right, the next area is going to be the inner thighs or hip adductors. So I'm going to place my mat so that it is, or my roller, so it's parallel to my mat. And then I'm just going to roll along the inner thigh slowly for 30 to 60 seconds. And again, I want to identify the most tender area. There's a tender area right there. And I'm going to apply pressure for 30 seconds. Again, while you're doing that, just relax, just breathe normally. And then you can switch over and do the same on the other leg. So that will be effective for breaking up the scar tissue and the muscle fibers that have not repaired properly. Now we want to realign those muscle fibers so that they're in the proper alignment to help us maximize our running performance. So we're going to do eccentric strengthening exercises where we're focusing on the lowering phase of the exercise. So we're first going to do the hip flexors. So what we're going to do is you can use a rope or band like I have here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my arms to raise my leg up. I'm not using the leg muscles to raise the leg up. I'm using my upper body. Then I'm going to relax that and allow the leg to lower. So I'm focusing on the lowering phase. And you can continue that. And I recommend that you start by performing 10 to 15 repetitions on each leg, and then you can increase the number of repetitions to about 20 to 40. Probably want to perform multiple sets. So that can help realign the fibers for the hip flexors. Now for the hip adductors, the inner thighs, what we're going to do is we're going to lie on our side like so. We're going to have our legs out so that we form roughly a 45-degree angle between the upper and lower body. Relax the head and neck. You might want to have a pillow underneath. You're going to bring the top leg out in front. Try to have that foot flat on the ground. And then with the bottom leg, we're going to kick up, but then we're going to slowly lower like we're pulling down a heavy weight. Now we're not going to use any weights, it's just body weight. But you want to just imagine that you're pulling down a heavy weight so that you're slowly lowering. So you're really focusing on that lowering phase. And again, I recommend performing 10 to 15 repetitions on each leg to start with, and then building up the number of repetitions so that you're doing about 20 to 40. So those are some cool down exercises that you can easily incorporate into your training program and start addressing those areas that are commonly tight in runners and are holding runners back from achieving their maximum potential and also increasing the risk of injury. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment box below, or you can click on reply. I'd love to hear from you, and until our next video, I wish you the best with your training, and I'll see you later. So long.